Hey guys, this is Pooka back with another bad deck breakdown. In this one, we're gonna take a look at my Leave It to Ambipom deck. It's a lot of fun, so let's just jump right into it. We'll take a look here. Now, the main strategy of the deck is to get a bunch of Jumpluffs into play, which have Leave It to the Wind. That lets you return Jumpluff and all things attached to it back to your hand. So that means you get back the Jumpluff, you get back the Skiploom, and you get back the Hoppip as well. So I play 4 Hoppip, 4 Skiploom, 4 Jumpluff, because you need to get as many Jumpluffs in play as possible. Now you might be wondering, why in the world would you want Jumpluff? It does 20 damage, probably like 50. It's got 90 hit points. It doesn't do anything. Well, that's correct, but Leave It to the Wind is why we're using this Pokemon. It lets you return it to your hand with all this stuff. So the idea is you get all these Jumpluffs into play, and then one turn you just return them to your hand so that you can use, ta-da, Hand Fling. Does 10 damage times the number of cards in your hand. So you can just fill your hand up to enormous sizes with Jumpluff, and then attack with Ambipom's Hand Fling and just knock things out in one hit. Now this strategy obviously has some flaws in it. For example, the card N, which completely shuts down this deck, which most decks play 4 of, but we will ignore this. We'll sweep that under the rug, because this is a lot of fun. I've had this work a couple times now, where you just get a big turn, you fill your hand up with Jumpluffs again, and then Hand Fling. I've knocked out a Darkrai in one hit, I've knocked out a Kyogre in one hit, I've done 250 damage at one point, so it's just fun, basically. Jumpluff and Ambipom work very well together, and that's just the whole strategy of the deck. So I run a 4-4-4 Jumpluff line, 3-3 on the Ambipom. You might consider bumping that up to maybe 4-4, because that is your main attacker. I also run a couple Mew EX, though, as just kind of attackers, too, because Mew has the versatile ability. It allows you to really just copy anything. This is useful, particularly against a Mewtwo EX. So you only need 9 cards in your hand in order to knock out a Mewtwo with Hand Fling. So that's why Mew is here, just so you don't have to put Ambipom in a line of danger. You can just attack with a Mew instead. So Mew is here. There's also a Shaman EX, just in case, you run Grass Energy because you don't really need a type. So Shaman, you can just use him as a Revenge Blast at the end of the game as well. This is kind of your way around losing to N. This gives you a reliable attacker at the end of a game. So that's why Shaman EX is here. We have a couple setup Pokemon here as well. We have Virizion. This is really just here for double draw. It allows you to build up your hand. You draw 2 cards. It's also very pretty looking. It's full art, so that's why it's here. Leaf Wallop can be used sometimes, but this is mainly here for double draw, to just draw more cards, which obviously works with Hand Fling. There's also Emolga, which allows you to use Call for Family, search for 2 basic Pokemon, put them on your bench, so you get some Hoppips into play. That's pretty much all there's to it. The reason I don't run more of these is because I have Mew. So you can use Mew, if you have it in play already, to just copy Emolga or Virizion. Versatile is, well, versatile, obviously. It allows you to just kind of use these things. Sometimes you don't always need to use Emolga or Virizion, but Mew just gives you more options to use them. So those are the Pokemon, pretty straightforward. You just want to get Jumpluffs in play, and return them to your hand, and then Hand Fling. That's the main strategy of the deck. So we know that. Let's just get to the trainers. I run 4 Level Ball. Those are just to search for your Pokemon. Everything in this deck can be grabbed by Level Ball except for the EXs and Virizion. So I might consider adding some Ultra Balls just to search for those things, but for now, all I have are Level Balls because they get Ambipom and they get Jumpluff. So that's all there is to that. Play 3 Catcher. That's pretty standard. I mean, Catcher's pretty much in every deck. So it's in here as well. If you just need to pick off something on your opponent's bench, that's why it's here. I have a couple Max Potions. Those are just to kind of preserve your Jumpluffs. A lot of the times they'll be, targeted with maybe Darkrai's Night Sphere. So if you have Max Potion, you can heal those off and maybe keep them alive longer. I don't know if max potion's necessary or even good in this deck, but it was just in my initial thoughts, and it hasn't left yet. There's also a super rod so that you can shuffle in some Hoppips and such, because those are really crucial to your deck. You really need to get Jumpluffs in play, number one. That's your priority. And then Energy Switch just allows you to get a surprise attack off with maybe Shaman EX, or even Ambipom if you just have a couple grass sitting around on your Pokemon. So Energy Switch is good as well. We don't run Random Receiver because there's no need to. You don't actually really want to thin out your deck. You want to just be drawing more cards. So the supporters are 4 Charon, just because that's going to be what's going to help you build up your hand. Bianca, it's limited because you can only draw up to 6. And a lot of the time we're going to have a lot more cards than 6. Maybe we would run Bianca as recovery when my opponent plays N. But for now I just have the 4 Charon. And then 4N, this is kind of a questionable card in this deck. Obviously it's good in the early game, but then as the game progresses, you kind of hurt yourself more than you help yourself. But early on, this is very good as draw power, so that's why it's in the deck. And then 4 Juniper, pretty obvious. You just draw a bunch of cards. So those are just your setup cards. Now I run Giant Cape. This might confuse you, but this is actually a very necessary card in this deck. What it allows you to do is attach to Jumpluff, or even Hoppip. Because, as I mentioned earlier, Darkrai exists. So Jumpluff only has 90 hit points, Hoppip only has 30 hit points. So those are both just destroyed by Night Spear. The Giant Cape allows you to survive Night Spear. The Hoppip will survive the 30 bench damage, the Jumpluff will survive the actual attack. So this works in 2 ways. Number 1, it allows your Jumpluff to survive. Number 2, when you use Leave It to the Wind, you get an extra card back because you have the Giant Cape attached. So it just gives you more options to get more cards back in your hand. So Giant Cape is very, very good in this deck. I might consider adding a 4th one just because of how crucial it really is. So nothing really too tricky on the trainers. Just the Giant Cape is the big one. And then the energy we have just straightforward 6 grass, 4 double colorless. Grass just because you need basic energy, you just need energy to attach, and you're running grass Pokemon, so why not? And then 4 double colorless allows you to power up your Ambipom to use Hand Fling. That's really all there is to it. So that is a pretty simple deck breakdown here. We just got 10 energy, 26 trainers, and then 24 Pokemon. 24 is really high for Pokemon, but in this deck it's pretty necessary just because you need all the Jumpluff stuff. So that is pretty much it. That's going to wrap up my Leave It to Ambipom deck. It is a lot of fun when you just return like 3 Jumpluffs to your hand and then Hand Fling for a ton of damage. So I encourage you to try this one out. It's not going to be very competitive. Trust me, it's not. Don't expect to be winning a lot, but just expect to get one massive turn where you Hand Fling for like 300 damage, and then you can die happy because you knock something out with an Ambipom. Well, that's going to wrap this one up, folks. Thanks again for watching. I am Pooka from the Top Cut. I'll probably have some more videos up for you soon, but until then, take care.